What's up, guys? Welcome back to Clutch John YouTube page. As you can see, we got that 5.3 LS over to the shop. We're getting ready to slide it in the Camaro. If you was wondering what's the plan for it, I'm gonna put it in my 2002 Camaro for a little while and play with it. First thing I gotta do is put this pilot bearing in. The pilot bearing goes in the back of the crank and the input shaft off the transmission. It guides it. Keep everything straight. Keep the input shaft straight on the clutch. So I'm gonna knock that in. Then I'm gonna get ready to put this stock 5.3 in the frame rails of the Camaro. Y'all stay tuned. Like and share. Subscribe to the page. Appreciate it. So I got the pilot bearing in. Now I'm gonna get ready to take the engine off the engine stand so I can put the mid plate, bolt the mid plate to the back of the engine. Let's get ready to put it in. Alright guys, so I got the engine stand unbolted. Raise this engine up a little bit so I can have to be bending over. Put the mid plate in. Put the mid plate on it and put a couple of bolts on it so it can hold the back of the engine when I slide it in the car. Can't bolt it up good because the bell housing got a bolt to it. Alright guys, so we got the mid plate on. I'm gonna get ready to move the engine over here and slide it in the car. Got everything lined up, push it back in place. Get ready to lower it down in place. Got to do a little bit more lining to get it straight. Make sure the back of the engine don't hit the firewall. Push it on back. So now I can start loading it down in place. I think I got everything lined up. Got a few of the lines and hoses out the way. So I'm gonna slowly let it fall in place and check everything. Gotta move the header out the way. Alright, now that I got the motor sitting in place, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up the front block plate bolts. Make sure I get everything tight on the driving passenger side block plate. Then I go to the mid plate, tighten it up, and I have the motor sitting in place. Can remove the engine horse and start hooking everything up. Alright guys, got all the block plate bolts in. Now I can pull the engine horse out the way. The motor is in place. So now I go ahead and start hooking up my header bolts. And so I just remembered I left the header bolts at home. So I'm gonna have to wait till I can go home and get the header bolts to hook up the header. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the carburetor on it. Alright, to start off with, I think I'm gonna take the carburetor off. I'm gonna put the E85 carburetor that I had on the other engine on here first, because the fuel tank still got E85 in it. So to keep them drained, I'm gonna just go ahead and fire the engine up for the first time with this E85 carburetor off this LS3 intake. So go ahead and unbolt the carburetor, and just give me a chance to check the nitrous kit. If you guys saw some of the previous videos, you know I pinched a couple rings on the racing motor that go in the car, and I think it's because I got a plugged up fuel jet in my nitrous system. So this will give me a chance to check that after I get the carburetor off. Alright guys, got the carburetor off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the fuel line on the nitrous kit. Check my theory, see if the jet is plugged. What y'all think? Y'all think the jet gonna be plugged? Come in and let me know. Alright guys, so I'm taking the fuel line off. Then we can look at the jet.
Yeah, take it. Yeah. Why is that?
But look at here. Actually the fitting is broke.
That's
I knew it had to be a fuel related problem. I pinched those rings on that other motor. Actually the fitting was broke. I thought the jet probably was plugged and it wasn't getting any fuel, but the fitting was broke. Surprised it didn't catch on fire. But glad I found the problem. I can fix that before I put it back together next time. You see the jet is good, but the fitting is definitely broke. So we had to replace that. It cost me a little money, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the carburetor studs in the intake. So I get ready to set the carburetor on.
You ready to go in the house?
Tighten it up. What you doing, Aiden? What you watch? Alright guys, I got the carburetor on, tighten it down. Got the carburetor linkage sitting in place, need to hook it to the carburetor. tighten down and move on to something else. Y'all stay tuned. So I need to take my water sensor out my other head and screw in this the head on this 5.3, so I'll be able to read my water temp. I could buy another sensor for $15–20, but I think I'll just use this one. Screw it in place and tighten it up. Make sure it still got the washer on it. Alright guys, I just realized something. It's actually this Super Victor LS1 intake isn't as tall as the Super Victor LS3 intake. You can see how it's about an inch shorter. So my fuel line not lining up correctly. So I think I'm gonna have to set this nitrous kit on to raise my carburetor up an inch to try to make my fuel line work. Then I realized the nitrous kit won't work because my fuel line on the nitrous kit is hitting the intake. So gotta come up with another plan. So I think I'm gonna just sit the nitrous plate on there as a 1-inch spacer and see does that help my carburetor line up better and be able to use my fuel line. Well guys, it's still not lining up right, so I think I'm gonna just sit this carburetor up here and probably figure out something on that later about my fuel line. Probably have to make a new fuel line. I'm gonna just sit this up here, get it out the way. I'll probably move on to something else while I think about what I'm gonna do to fix this problem. So I got the radiator in. I just run a factory radiator that come in the car. Got some radiator brackets that I made, lightweight radiator brackets that I made out of aluminum. So I'm putting the bolts in those brackets and tighten it up. Hook up my water lines, plug up my fans. I should be good to go with the radiator. Just got my radiator in, tightening up. Now I'm hook up my water lines, water hoses, tighten those up. I should be good to go, ready to put water in it. Move to the back of the engine and hook up the line that goes to my oil pressure gauge, so I'll be able to read the oil pressure inside the car. Finish hooking this up and tighten it up. So I went home, got the header bolts, finished putting those in and tightening up the headers. We'll have that done. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna just start off with the same BR7 EF plugs that I ran on the racing engine with the E85. So I'm gonna put these in. Gotta finish tightening up. I got all the plugs hand tight. Gotta finish tightening them up in the head. We'll be done with that. Be ready to put the cords on and the plug wires. Hey guys, we got the cords on, got the plug wires hooked up, we got the fuel line on, got the alternator on, gotta put the belt on. So we're pretty much done on the top side. So now I'm gonna raise the car up and start working on the bottom, putting the clutch on and stuff. Having this little guys mate doing this type work a whole lot easier. I remember before we built the shop, we had to get on the cold ground and do all this work. Sure glad to have the lift. Makes it a lot easier. Alright guys, got the car in the air. I'm gonna put the triple D 6-inch clutch in it that we use for racing. There's no need to change. So, gotta put the flywheel on first. Get it up in place. This is a 6-inch round clutch. Lightweight clutch, triple disc. So put all the flywheel bolts in and torque them. And I start putting the floaters and the disc in. And then put the hat on top, tighten it down. We'll have the clutch in, guys. So I'm gonna put the line up shaft in place. That'll help me line up all the discs. And start putting the disc on. One disc, one floater. One disc, one floater. One disc, and the hat. The first floater, put it on. It lines up with the stand bolts. Clean off my fingerprints. I don't want it slipping because of my fingerprints being on it. Lining up the second disc. Get it lined up on the spline. Then I go with the second floater. Put the second floater on and in place. Then I put the last disc in. So make it a triple disc. Got 3 of these discs in. Put the last disc in, and then I put the clutch hat on. So got the last disc in place. Now I'm putting the clutch hat on. Put all the stand bolts on. Torque them down. Then I have to check the clutch, make sure I got the hat height set correctly. Alright guys, so after I get all the stand bolts torqued, then I check the hat height. The hat has to be at the same height all the way around the clutch to make sure I got even pressure on all the 6 springs around the clutch. Alright guys, got the clutch in. Now I can go ahead and poke the starter up and hook up the wires on it. I think I'm gonna crank it up before I put the bell housing on and the transmission in case there's something wrong with this engine. I have to take it back out. Just save those few steps. I just got everything done on the bottom. Now I put the oil in it. I think we should have to get the oil in it. Should be ready to fire it up. See how this stock 5.3 sound with these headers and these boiler mufflers. I'm curious, it's probably not gonna sound like too much, but we'll find out. Alright guys, so I got it running. It sound weak. Sound like a loud old Radiator sewing machine. No whooping the cam. I think I'm gonna have to put the cam in it. But for what I'm doing, I think I'm gonna leave it like it is for now. I do have a water leak, so I do have to take the water pump back off and replace the gaskets. I was trying to use old gaskets. I should have put new gaskets on it. So, but I got the oil pressure looking fine, everything looking fine. So I think we got a good engine. Right on the 5th on the oil pressure. Right now it's idling about 1500 RPM. So I'm good to go. Y'all stay tuned.